Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, coming at you tonight. This is December 6th and our sixth day of inspirational holiday gifts around important dates that'll actually improve the quality of your life. All right, for those of you that are just joining us, well, welcome. And for those of you that are coming back, it's great to see you again. Every single day from day 1 to day 25, I'm unwrapping a little mini present. And in that present, I'm sharing some inspiration on a tool that you can add to your, let's say, repertoire of things to improve the quality of your life and others. So if you're looking to improve your life right now, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a support, depending on what channel you're on. I want to thank all of us that are watching us on Facebook, on my personal page, on my John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur page, on my LinkedIn profile, and also on YouTube, John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur, and on Twitch, John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur. So thanks so much for coming again tonight. Be sure to comment below. What is it that you're trying to achieve in your life? You're trying to achieve something, maybe you're stuck. Well, comment that below and tag of your friends, colleagues, and associates. And don't forget to share it out to everyone after this broadcast. All right, so I've got a gift in front of me here. I'm going to open it for you on camera. Wow. It's a pair of sunglasses, polarized sunglasses, ultraviolet protection. So why am I gifting myself a pair of sunglasses? Well, that's a great question. You see, a lot of times in life, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a business owner, whether you're working for a company, you miss things. And the reason you miss things is because you're not seeing clearly. Now, I don't mean that you can't see how sharp something is or tell whether it's a 6 or it's a 9 or no safe stopping distances. I don't mean any of that. When I mean you're not seeing something clearly, I mean you're too attached to the situation. Maybe you have emotional charge. And because of that, your vision is getting clouded. That's right. It's getting clouded. And by getting clouded, it will prevent you from being able to achieve your dreams and make your internal pictures a reality in life. Now, when we say, are you seeing clearly? We're talking about a couple things. Are you aware of what's around you right now? Maybe that's the people, maybe it's certain surroundings, maybe it's certain skills you have or don't have. Maybe it's certain things that are bothering you, or perhaps it could just be a belief that you've had for many years. And if we say that you're not seeing clearly, it means that you're really not digesting everything you need to be able to achieve your goal. For example, if you were going to build a birdhouse, this is a common one, and my grandfather was a carpenter, and I remember being in Cub Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout now after many years, and he actually built me a birdhouse, and then we showed all the other Cub Scouts how to build a birdhouse. So my grandfather basically cut all the pieces of wood and the plexiglass and all this, and we went together because first we made one together, and then after that, he put everything together to help the Cub Scouts, and then we basically used glue, hammer, nails, etc. And I think we used some. Actually, did we use? I think we used hammer. We didn't use nails. We used screws, and we put the piece of plexiglass in instead of glass because it was a lot safer. And if you didn't know what was involved to make a birdhouse, then you couldn't make a birdhouse. My grandfather was an excellent carpenter and a roofer, and he knew how to do things. But what he would always say is, if you don't know how to do something, don't give up. You need to figure out what you don't know and then either teach that to yourself or find some way to learn that. Now, many, many years ago, there wasn't online trainings. We didn't have YouTube videos back then. But the premise was the same. You could go to someone else and ask them, how do you build a birdhouse? So in this case, my grandfather showed me how to build a birdhouse, and he showed all the other Cub Scouts, and he had everything all pre-built, but you had to know how to use certain tools. So seeing would mean that he would have to know how to build a birdhouse, what tools you use, how to use that tool properly. In addition to that, he would also have to foresee, how do you make a birdhouse and teach people to make a birdhouse when they have no clue of ever using a tool before. And so, we're talking like basically third or fourth graders right now at the time. And you might say to yourself, well, gee, it can't be that hard to build a birdhouse. No, it's not that hard to build a birdhouse. But if you've never built one before, it's probably the hardest thing in your life. A few weeks ago, we actually built our own backdrop set. And we looked at backdrops we could buy and, put them together and stuff. But then I said, gee, we could go out to a local improvement store and actually buy the things that we need. And we could build something for, I don't know, $30, $40 and make it really good. And so it started out by me taking a piece of paper and sketching out what I wanted, and then realizing what I was going to need. T pieces, elbows. I even bought glue, but I returned it because I didn't need the glue, because I didn't realize how strong, when you put the PVC together, that it actually has a good grip. So you really don't need the actual glue. One thing I was researching is that it's very important that when you build something, you have to know how it's going to function. So most people say, gee, I'll just build it with, the cheapest PVC I can find. But that's not the right answer, because I realized that when we got above 4 feet, and this was like 5, 6, 7 feet in the air, we had to have something more stable. Thus, I used 1-inch PVC pipe. And so what do I mean by you need to be able to see clearly? Well, sometimes we are so, let's say, tunnel visioned into what we're doing that we can't see that something's wrong. We can't see another perspective because we don't believe that it should be different. That's why it's great to get professional advice, to get advice from your friends, people that have had the experience. So my grandfather was an amazing teacher. He was very patient, very kind. And I remember to this day, he built my mom a whole bunch of not just shelves in our kitchen, but he also built, like, in our basement, he built this whole set of shelves, but it wasn't like shelves you'd get in the store. These were really nice shelves. He finished them, and they were just really, really nice. I remember one Christmas when I was starting to learn a little about carpentry and start to play around with that. My grandfather would always have these different tools, and he'd have a vise, and would tell me, John, this is the tool you can play with now. It does the same thing that this tool does, but it's just not as sharp, or, you're not going to hurt yourself as badly with this tool as you would with this tool. Later on, when you get older, you can play with this tool. And so I remember one Christmas, my gift was actually a present from him, and it was probably one of the best presents I ever got. He made me a tool bench. And a little bit of sad moment here at the moment, because I just realized that that tool bench that he made me is actually still in the house that my parents sold many years ago. And I realized that I guess I wish I would have kept that. He made this bench for me. It was incredible. He built it, and I had a little workbench. And I remember when we went to get a vise and mount that and all kinds of stuff, and he was just great. But the point I'm trying to get to you is that a lot of times we are tunnel visioned into where we want to go because we can't see anything around us, right? Why does this happen? Well, it's because we are just focused one way, laser focused. Now, there's nothing wrong about being laser focused, but what's important is that if you're focused on something and there is going to be an impediment in your way and you're not aware of that, that could potentially frustrate you and keep you off your path. And then when you become frustrated, you'll be like, oh, this isn't going to work. I'm never going to succeed. And one thing about my grandfather is that if I didn't know something, he always said to ask, and he would always be happy to tell me or explain something to me if I wasn't sure. He was one of the very few people in my family that actually you could ask him any question you wanted, and he'd be able to answer you. A lot of times I asked him things about, could have been about electricity, it could have been about roofing, it could have been about wood or how to build this, or Grandpa, I have this thing and I'm trying to make this thing to hold something. You mean a shelf? I'm like, I guess. How would we do that? And he would show me and he would do it. And I learned a lot from him. So when you learn, and I have these pair of glasses here to symbolize this, to realize that you have to see clearly. And to see clearly, you need to understand that sometimes where your eyes are looking might not be the way to just get there. There may be other things on the side that are actually getting in your way, right? And so when you make a choice to see clearly, that means that you're going to do whatever you need to do to solve a challenge. And you're also not going to let your ego get in the way. Okay? A lot of times you ask somebody to help you with a problem, but then if you don't want to do it their way, they suddenly get upset with you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that we're all here to help each other become better versions of ourselves. That's why we're here. We're not here to say, hey, I'm better than you, or this person's better than me. We're not here for that. We're here to help each other for the common good. Now, when you think about how to see clearly in life, if I asked you that question right now, how do you see clearly to achieve a goal? If I asked you that question, what would you say to me? Well, you got to be very clear and specific, right? You're going to track your progress, be accountable, and you have to make sure that you have fun. You know, when we have fun in life, time just seems to fly, and we seem to learn so much more. And then we want to do it more. A lot of people, if I said to you, you know, before you can build a house, you need to see clearly. Or before you can, let's say, market a business successfully, you need to see clearly. How do you see clearly? I learned a long time ago that sometimes you want to do something because you want to do it, but it may not be the reasons that you should be doing it for, because you have to do it for who your target market is. You could devise this great plan and it could be amazing, but it may not be in alignment with what the people that you're trying to reach want. And that could potentially, it will affect your sales and people getting involved with you. I think when we say, do you see clearly? What we're really saying is, are you open to new perspectives? So when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change, which I have to compliment Dr. Dwayne Dyer for this, who he actually learned from Patanjali's many years ago. And I have to tell you that when you make a choice to see clearly, it's like the world just sort of unfolds before you. But if you're somebody that's going to be so hung up on egos and worry that somebody says it the wrong way, your feelings are going to get hurt. Well, that's a problem. And so this gift here today, these polarized sunglasses, are here to let us understand that we can achieve any goal if we're truly open to see clearly. And I don't just mean in my eyes, right? I'm talking about my mind and my heart. Am I truly open to possibilities from my heart and from my mind to help me achieve this goal? If I am, then guess what? I'm going to achieve that goal no matter what it takes. But if my feathers are going to get ruffled because my heart's not in alignment or my mind's not in alignment, things aren't going to go very smoothly for me. And a lot of times, people will walk away from you when you don't want to do something that they want you to do. So maybe they've told you to do it this way, but you don't want to do it that way. I know many times I've known people that they say you have to do it this way. And you do it that way, but it doesn't work for you. But you found another way to do it, and they're not happy that you're doing it that way. You get the right solution, but they're not happy because it wasn't their idea. You see, a lot of people get very picky when it comes to different types of imagination and things like that. And I will tell you right now that it is very important that you actually make a decision now to see clearly. Now, sometimes seeing clearly is going to hurt your mind. It's going to hurt your heart or appear to. I think when we say to you, see clearly, are you able to see past where you are right now? And if you're doing something, and let's say it's not working, are you able to honestly open your eyes, your mind, and your heart and listen to people's feedback and change your course of direction? Or are you just going to keep trying to use, right, the square peg in the round hole and just trying to jam it in there until you either break the peg or you damage the hole, right? Are you that kind of person? If you are, then you're not going to be as successful as you could be. So seeing clearly just means that you realize there are other perceptions and perspectives to the problem. If you can understand that, you've got half it in the bag. The rest of it is taking the action, the consistency, and putting the mind together to apply those techniques. If you're doing something for X hours and it doesn't work, and somebody says to you, hey, John, why don't we try it this way? And then you say to them, oh, I'm not used to trying it that way. I always done it this way for 100 years. Okay. And how's that working for you? Well, it always worked before. Well, is it working for you now? No, it's not, but you just got to give me more time and I'm going to figure it out. You see, that's a stubborn person. Okay. Very stubborn person. And if you can understand that, then so much will open up for you. The perspectives of your life will just open up like you cannot believe. If you're outside, right, and you put on your sunglasses, right, and they're polarized UV, what happens? It blocks out the harmful rays to your eyes, protects your eyes, keeps them getting strained, and you actually can see longer without any kind of discomfort. But when you leave your glasses off, it puts you at a disadvantage. So the reason I'm using glasses here is a couple of reasons. One, when you choose to put a pair of glasses on, you're going to see something from a different angle, from a different perspective. Have you ever looked at the number 6 and the letter 9, and the number 6 and the number 9? You could argue all day long about the 6 and the 9. But you know what the truth is? Is it a 6 or is it a 9? And you and I know that it could be a 6 and it could be a 9, depending on where the line is. But if there's no line drawn at the top or at the bottom, if it's at the bottom, then we know it's a 6, right? If it's the other way, then we know it's a 9 at the top, right? Because that would be the bottom. Are you able to ascertain those, call it nuances in life? If you are, and you're able to take information and realize that our life is just a matter of just looking at something through someone else's eyes. If you can't get a solution to a problem, close your eyes and imagine that you were the other person. Imagine that you were the person that you're trying to solve the problem for. And I bet you're going to realize that things are going to enter your head that you didn't even think were possible. And then when you take that and you step back into the other frame, be like, oh, I never thought about that. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's take people that are handicapped and they need certain types of accommodations, such as ramps, etc. If you weren't handicapped, okay, or you didn't know someone was handicapped, or you never had a situation where you weren't able to walk, then you may not appreciate what a handicapped person goes through. I can appreciate that because I broke my leg several times when I was younger. And so I know not only is it a respect thing, but I also know what it's like when I couldn't get up stairs because it was very hard because I couldn't walk. I had a wheelchair, I had crutches. And wasn't very easy. So the ramp made it easier, especially when I was only in the wheelchair. Some people need to see the situation in someone else's eyes. And therefore, they may need to put on another pair of glasses. Not the glasses that they have right now, but another pair. And there might be different glasses for different situations. So if you can do that, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be able to get the perspective of the other person. And now it's not coming from your point of view, it's coming from their point of view. And when you make decisions, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I just realized if there's no ramp there, and if I was handicapped, I wouldn't be able to get up. I know that wouldn't be fun for other people. So we definitely got to make sure we put the right ramps in. So I think when you start to think from this angle, things change. And they change in a good way because you're like, I didn't realize that. Or a question in marketing maybe comes like, well, why isn't that working? Well, it's not working because maybe the message is too long, or maybe you're not targeting the right group, or maybe when you put the message out there, you didn't put a catchy key phrase in there that catches people, right? But if you're under the impression that, oh, everything I do is amazing and nothing is ever bad, I'm not saying what you do is bad. I'm just saying you have to be open to the possibility that things can get better in your life. If they can, then guess what? You will improve the quality of your life and improve the quality of life of others. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying to do is put on a pair of glasses, proverbially or for real if you want, but just close your eyes. Just think about what it would be like in the other person's shoes. Maybe see what they're going to see, hear what they're going to hear, touch what they're going to touch, depending on what it is. And when you can do that, you're going to be able to bring some, I'm going to call them data points, over to you and be able to realize some things that you never even thought of. Not because you're not smart, but because those people are using it a different way than you intended. But if you do everything the way you want, and you want everybody to just fall into your crescendo, that's not the way it works. You find your target market, you figure out what they want, and you do things the way they want. You don't make them do something the way you want it. See, that's how a lot of people work that have egos. They won't change the way something is done because this is the way it's going to be done and you're going to have to like it. No. You need to do things that are going to be the easiest and most convenient and appropriate way for your end users, if we're talking end users. So I hope you'll understand, and I hope in life when something's not going the way you want, proverbially take off those glasses and put on the other person's glasses. When you do this, it's also going to make you humble, and they're going to be more willing to work with you. To say, hey, Jim, I'm just trying to imagine, what you're going through every day and, what you're using it for. And I'm getting a little bit of an understanding now of why you want it that way. I just want to understand when you're using it every day, what do you then do once you did the first part? And they'll be happy to share it with you because now you're taking a step in their shoes, which is showing humility. And we know one of the best ways to build a rapport is to be humble. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm sure you know it has been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this evening. And I look forward to coming back with you tomorrow, December 7th, for day 7. This is really exciting. Every day I'm unwrapping another present. Share this with your friends, colleagues, and associates. Remember to do that. And if it really resonated with you, go to my YouTube channel, type in John space E space MORLEY space serial entrepreneur, and below any one of my videos, look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. Below that, click on the PayPal link and make the choice to donate and buy my team that a cup of coffee or a glass of water. We'll be so grateful for those pennies and dollars, and we'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, and even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, December 7th, with another gift of inspiration on these 25 days around the holiday. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.